Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Hub on Vital MX, your one-stop shop for motocross news from around the world. And it is a truly worldwide episode once again with Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations news, SMX news, WSX news, and a little MXGP sprinkled in there as well. Where to begin? Let's start with Jorge Prado. Of course, everyone has seen his Instagram post from the weekend by now, where he said that he never felt comfortable on the bike, not even a bit, and that this built to an unsafe feeling on it. As of the time of recording, there have been no developments in Prado's case, if you want to call it that. It does seem as though the team and he will split at the end of SMX. That appears all but confirmed at this point. Perhaps the Monster split is more of a lingering issue than the Kawasaki split. Prado does have a personal deal with Monster, but I would expect him to be on a KTM come Anaheim 1 2026. Now, are the rumours true, and will he be on a KTM at the Motocross of Nations? I do believe that would be the ideal scenario for Prado, but as time goes on, I become increasingly doubtful that he will be able to tie up all of his current contracts, get out cleanly in time to be representing opposing sponsors on such a global stage. But hey, watch this space, because there is certainly going to be a change. It's just a matter of when, not if. There won't be a change for Tom Vialle coming up, as he is going to complete SMX with the Red Bull KTM factory racing team. I know there was some confusion about that after he pulled out of the second moto at Budds Creek, but he will be in SMX. He pulled out because of repeated shock failures on his KTM 250 SXF. That should be less of a problem in SMX, shorter races and whatnot, although it is just bizarre, as we discussed on the MXGP podcast show. No KTM riders in Europe have had this issue. Yet all of the KTM riders in America have had the issue. Work that out. Quite bizarre, I would say. Speaking of Tom Vialle, he was included in a bumper WSX announcement earlier this week. World Supercross announced their latest rider lineup. It's not complete, but it's certainly starting to fill out. The most poignant moments from the announcement came in the form of Max Anstey and Jason Anderson. Both riders will compete in the full 5-round championship. Quite a surprise to see Max Anstey, a former champion of this series, racing the complete series. Of course, his star Yamaha teammates in Cooper Webb and Justin Cooper will be wildcards at points, but Anstey will be all in and racing under the GSM Yamaha banner. I would expect him to race East Coast as a result, although maybe West Coast, because he will come into Anaheim 1 with plenty of gate drops under his belt. And Jason Anderson being announced but not attached to a team certainly seems like a foreshadowing of his Suzuki announcement. He will be on a PMG Suzuki in WSX. There are still some announcements to come, and if one of them that I've heard through the grapevine comes true, it will arguably be WSX's biggest announcement yet. It's obviously already looking quite strong with WSX wildcards in the form of Ken Roxon, Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, Tom Vialle on a Honda, allegedly, and many others. But watch this space for more WSX news. As the regular season winds down, we move into WSX. But before that, we will hit the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. And Team Latvia have confirmed that they are going. This wasn't a certainty just a couple of days ago, in fact. But they will be there with Pauls Jonas and, excuse my pronunciation, the Razulis brothers. They will be representing Latvia, and it is a strong team. Now, not recognisable names to some American listeners, perhaps, but if all of those riders are on form, that could be a top 6 team, I think. Just getting them on form on the same day may be the hard part. And all being well, there would have just been an announcement about Team Great Britain, which will be Conrad Muse, Dylan Walsh, and Ben Watson. So no Max Anstey because of the previous WSX announcement, and no Tommy Searle, despite the fact that he was somewhat entertaining it. What else do we have from this week in motocross? Not so much, purely because this coming weekend we have nothing. No SMX, no MXGP. It's a completely empty weekend. It would be really great if these calendars could align a little bit more to give us something to watch. I guess before we go, just an update on Dylan Wright, who crashed in the second 450B qualifying session at Budds Creek. He fractured a T4 vertebra in his back and will therefore be out of action for a while. The Canadian season is obviously finished, and he wasn't scheduled for the Motocross of Nations, so he has plenty of time to rest and recuperate. That's all for this episode of The Hub. Thank you for watching and listening. We will be back next weekend when it will all be going on as the SMX playoffs kick off in Charlotte. MXGP begins its furious race to the final checkered flag with 2 championships on the line, one especially spicy. So we'll be back with all of that news in 7 days' time. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll see you real soon.